Hi everyone, I am Rosana Jatobá, and I hope you are making the most of our program. Innovation and technology are recurrent topics in Festival Nova Klabin. Our next guest is the president of SAP Brazil, a global leader in the business software solution market. I would like to welcome Adriana Aroulho. Adriana, it's a pleasure to have you. How are you?
Olá,
I'm
Rosana, tudo
great,
ótimo.
Rosana.
Muito bom estar
It's
aqui
a
com você
pleasure to be
também.
here. You took charge of the company during the pandemic with the mission of helping customers to accelerate digital transformation. I imagine it must have been a big challenge. Tell us a little bit about it.
Com certeza, Rosana. Bom, eu
Oh,
já
for
venho
sure.
como CEO da
I have been
companhia há
the
quase dois
CEO of
anos
the company for
e eu
almost
fazia
two
parte
years,
do comitê de
and I
crise para
was part of
enfrentamento
the
da
crisis
pandemia, então eu estava
committee
muito
to tackle
envolvida,
the
com a
pandemic, so
situação,
I was
mas
fully
obviamente que
involved.
é diferente quando
But
você
obviously,
muda de
it's different
posição. A
when you
nossa
change
presidente, até
positions.
então presidente aqui do
Our
Brasil, a
former
Cristina Palmaca, foi
president,
promovida para a América
Cristina
Latina,
Palmaca, was
e aí eu tive
promoted
a
to
oportunidade
Latin
de assumir em
America,
plena
and I
pandemia
was appointed
e tem
in the
sido
middle of the
uma
pandemic.
gestão de
And it has
incertezas e
been a
aprendizados
journey of
diários.
uncertainties
Mas
and
muito
daily
bacana, Rosana. Eu
learnings.
estou muito
But I'm
feliz,
very
muito
happy
animada
and
com o
thrilled
desafio.
to face the challenge. And do you feel companies in the IT industry are more welcoming to women? Because we know this is a male dominated environment.
Olha, Rosana, é uma jornada. Eu
Hosanna,
acho que
it's
essa
a
é uma
journey.
grande jornada. Eu
I
sou
believe
uma
it's a long
otimista
journey.
realista.
I am
Eu
a
acho que a gente
realistic
vem
optimistic.
progredindo nessa
I
agenda de
think we are
equidade de
making
gênero.
progress in this
Aqui na
agenda of
SAP,
gender
né,
equity.
eu
In
substituindo uma outra
SAP, I
mulher,
am
eu acho que a
replacing
gente
another
é um pouco
woman, so
exceção
I
na nossa
think we are
indústria
sort
de
of an exception
tecnologia.
in the
A SAP
IT
é uma empresa
industry.
muito comprometida com esse
SAP
tema, nós
is
temos
highly
metas
committed
globais,
to
nós
this
temos
topic. We
compromisso
have
público
global
de
goals
equidade, inclusive
and public
salarial, entre
commitments to
homens e
gender
mulheres em
equity,
funções
including
iguais.
pay
A gente
equity for
espera
men and
chegar até
women in equal
2030 com
positions.
metade
We expect
homens,
to
metade
achieve
mulheres,
a
como é no
similar
mundo.
proportion of
A
men and
gente
women
vem
in
avançando
2030
nisso.
as everywhere
E a
else,
gente tem uma
and
agenda
we are
muito
making
forte de
progress.
diversidade e
And we have a
inclusão, não
very
só de
robust
gênero, mas
agenda
também,
of
né, de outras
diversity and
maiorias
inclusion, not only
minorizadas.
regarding gender,
E acho
but
que
also
a gente
other
ainda tem
majority
bastante
minorities.
lição de casa,
I
mas a
think we
gente
still have
vem
a lot of work
progredindo
to do,
muito nesse
but
aspecto.
we are moving forward. I think you will agree with me when I say that diversity and inclusion go beyond social justice. These are essential elements for innovation.
Totalmente.
No
Como é que a gente
doubt.
vai pensar
How can we
diferente
think in a
se as
different manner
pessoas não forem
if people are not
diferentes, né?
different?
Então, a diversidade, ela
Diversity is the fuel
combustível da
for
inovação. Para
innovation.
que a gente faça coisas
To make
diferentes, a
things in
gente
a different
precisa
manner,
de pessoas
we need
diferentes.
different
E para
people.
que a empresa,
And
né,
for the
sirva melhor
company
à
to
sociedade,
benefit
esse é o nosso
society,
grande
which is our
papel, a
major
gente também precisa
role,
refletir a
we need to
sociedade,
mirror the
né?
society.
Então, eu acho que quanto
So
mais a
I
gente
believe the
consegue
more we are
refletir
able to
isso,
do this,
melhor as
the
nossas
better the
conexões também com os
connections
nossos
with our
clientes.
customers. I was having a look at your brilliant trajectory, and I noticed you hold a social science degree. You were at University of São Paulo, you specialized in business administration at GV, and has an MBA in IT management, also earned at University of São Paulo. So you are a multifaceted woman. You went from humanities to exact sciences. Do you think this is an ideal profile for a professional in innovation?
Acho que não tem um perfil
I don't
ideal para
think there is an
inovação,
ideal
Rosana, até pela
profile
natureza,
for
né? É
innovation,
algo
even
novo.
because it's
Mas eu acho que, sem
always something
dúvida,
new when you talk about
esse perfil
innovation. But no doubt
multidisciplinar,
this
esse olhar
multidisciplinary
curioso, eu acho que
profile and this
isso é
curiosity
importante,
are
né?
important.
A minha formação, como você
My
disse,
original background,
original,
as you
é da
said,
área
is
de
in
humanas. Eu
humanities.
tinha
I
outras
had other
pretensões,
intentions,
acabei me
but I
apaixonando
fell
pela
in love with
tecnologia,
technology.
mas
However,
não pela
not
tecnologia em si,
with
né? Mas
technology
pelo
per
que ela
se,
habilita, pelo poder
rather with the
transformador
transforming
da
power of
tecnologia. E
technology.
aí
And
acabei
this
fazendo minha
led me
carreira
to
toda
construct my
nessa
career in
área.
this area. And at a very young age, you still have a long journey ahead. It's I'd like to broaden the scope of our conversation to talk about the sustainability platform of SAP, which is very robust. You have a portfolio with new solutions for sustainability, which is well known and well consolidated in the market. And I noticed you have a project called Plastic Free Ocean, aimed at encouraging programs to clean the oceans. Adriana, this is a vital point when you think about environmental deterioration.
Com certeza, Rosana. Esse foi o primeiro
No
programa
doubt,
que o nosso
Rosana,
CEO
this
global,
was the
Christian
first
Klein, lançou em
program
Davos.
launched by
Nós
our global
somos
CEO, Christian
signatários aí
Klein,
do
in
Pacto
Davos.
Global da
We are
ONU
signatories of UN's
e essa
global
agenda de
agreement,
sustentabilidade vem
and
crescendo
this
muito aqui no
sustainability
SAP.
agenda
Inclusive, a
has
visão
been
do
growing a lot
Christian
in
é
SAP.
que sustentabilidade
In
não
Christian's
seja uma
view,
agenda exclusiva.
sustainability should
Nós
not be an
tenhamos
exclusive
sustentabilidade em tudo que a
agenda.
gente faz.
He believes we
As
should have
nossas soluções,
sustainability
como você
in
disse, a
everything we
gente tem
do.
portfólio
In our
que trata
solutions,
do
as you
tema
said, we have a
ESG de uma forma
portfolio
bem
that
ampla.
deals with the
Nas
ESG
nossas
agenda in a
operações,
broad
então,
manner.
como a gente
And in
também
our
dá o exemplo
operations,
de
we give
sustentabilidade
an
e nos nossos
example of
investimentos sociais.
sustainability. And the same
Falando das
applies to our
nossas
social
soluções, Rosana,
investments.
a
Talking
gente,
about our
a gente fez
solutions,
recentemente um mapeamento e
recently
nós temos
our
23
mapping has
soluções que
shown
dão
that we have
conta de
23
90
solutions
métricas de RI.
that
Então,
comply
nós
with
temos o
90
Instituto
GRI
Global aí de
metrics, the
reporting
Global
das
Reporting
métricas de
Institute
sustentabilidade, tanto na
for
área
sustainability
ambiental,
metrics
quanto na área
in the
social, quanto em
environmental,
termos de
the
governança.
social,
Então,
and the
acho que a gente
governance
consegue
area.
contribuir e ajudar
And
bastante
we
os
are
nossos
able to
clientes nas
help our
agendas de
customers
ESG.
a lot in this ESG agenda. The issue of metrics is very important. It's difficult to measure the impacts when you talk about sustainability. So the idea of having a package of services to measure the indices of sustainability of a company, I think it's a great
Com
advancement.
certeza. Se a gente não
Exactly.
mede, a
If we
gente
do
não
not
consegue saber
measure,
se está
we
avançando,
cannot
se está
see
indo para o
whether we
caminho
are
certo,
moving in
né?
the right
E
direction.
novamente, essa tem que ser uma agenda da
And this
liderança das
agenda must
empresas,
come
essa é a
from the
nossa
company's
visão na
leadership.
SAP,
This is
e
our
que a
view
Klabin
in
também é
SAP.
muito
I know
comprometida com
Klabin
essa
is also
agenda de
highly
ESG.
committed to the
E a
ESG
gente, de
agenda.
novo, né, consegue acompanhar,
And
ajudar
as
as
I said,
empresas a
we are
identificar,
able to
medir
help
e fazer um
companies to
acompanhamento
identify,
aí
to
de
measure,
pelo menos
and follow
90
at
métricas de
least
RI. Então,
90
tem
GRI
bastante coisa
metrics,
para
so
fazer.
there's a lot to do. When we talk about sustainability, the focus tends to be on climate change, global warming, greenhouse gas emissions, but this is just one pillar of sustainability, the environmental one. When you have a more robust ESG agenda, of course you also have to keep an eye on the social and the governance aspects, and I'd like to know how you are dealing with these pillars, starting with the social one. As to the social pillar, I'd like to go back to diversity. We started discussing gender equity, but in SAP, we look at 5 different aspects of diversity. Not only gender, which is very important, but also race. We are in Brazil, where half the population is black. This is not mirrored in companies, so we have a lot to do in that sense. We have been embracing the GLBT goals for a long time. And also generations. In SAP, we have 5 different generations. So this is a very rich exchange of experiences and constructive conflicts. And also people with disability, and this includes a sub-agenda for neurodiversity. SAP has a program for inclusion of people who suffer from autism. This has been going on for some time, and we now have 20 autistic people in our operations. And this is all very enriching. So I think regarding the social pillar, diversity is something that we see very strongly in SAP. And as to the governance pillar, this is directly related to our core business. We are global leaders in business management software. Our solutions add governance and transparency to decision making. And SAP's strategy is to help customers, other companies of all sizes, including Klabin, our very special customer, to be smarter companies. To us, a smart company is a company that grows in a sustainable manner, is ethical, transparent, and diverse. And this is in line with the ESG agenda. I'd like to talk about purposeful innovation. I'd like you to tell us how you see co-creation projects, so partnerships with startups, with universities and other players to create this collaborative environment in which ideas are shared.
né? Eu
I'd
acho
say this is
que
the way to go. When we
é quando a gente soma
combine
forças que a
efforts,
gente
that's when
avança.
we move
Então,
forward.
o ecossistema da
The
SAP é muito
SAP
poderoso.
ecosystem
A
is
gente
a very
tem
powerful one.
mais de 15
We
mil
have more
clientes aqui no
than
Brasil, mais de
15,000
400
customers in
parceiros. A
Brazil,
gente está
more than
aqui há
400
quase
partners. We have
25
been in the
anos
business
atendendo
for
diferentes
almost 25
verticais de
years and provide
indústria.
services for
Temos no
verticals.
sul do
In the
país
south
nosso
of the country, we
laboratório de
have
pesquisa e
our R&D
desenvolvimento, onde a
lab
gente
where
faz
we
programas de
develop
mentoria
programs
de startups,
for
onde a
mentorship
gente
for
faz
startups
programas de
and
inovação
innovation
com
programs with
clientes, né? Então a
customers.
gente tem um
We have
programa
a
que já é
traditional
tradicional, a gente já faz há vários anos,
program
que é o nosso
called
Inno Weeks,
InnoWeeks,
onde a gente, junto com
where
os nossos
we
clientes, escolhe
select
alguns
problems
problemas de negócio
with
para
our
resolver,
customers
pensar
to
e trazer a
find
tecnologia
solutions,
para
to use
habilitar
technology
essas
to enable these
soluções.
solutions.
Então, o tema de
So
inovação é
innovation is
muito
really
vivo aqui
present
no
in
SAP. A gente
SAP.
tem uma
We
comunidade
have
de
a
design,
design
que é a Design at
community,
Business,
design at
que
business,
nasceu aí de uma
and this was
parceria entre a
born
SAP e a
of a
Vale, e a gente
partnership
expandiu
between
e vem
SAP and
trazendo várias
Vale, and we
outras
have
empresas com a
expanded this to
gente
include
para
other
pensar em
companies
design thinking,
to
em
think about
metodologias de
design and
design,
design
resolvendo problemas
methodologies
de
to
negócio,
solve
trocando melhores
business
práticas.
problems and
A
discuss
gente
best
tem, a
practices.
gente procura
And
também
we try
levar essas
to
melhores
apply
práticas para o
best
nosso
practices
ecossistema,
in
então
our
programas com os
ecosystem, in
nossos
programs with our
parceiros.
partners.
E a gente tem um
And we
foco
also
muito
have a
grande
strong
no tema de
focus in
educação, Rosane.
education.
Então, um programa que
I
está
have
muito bem
a
voltado
program that
é o
I'm
nosso
very
programa
proud
Learning
of.
for
It's called
Employment,
Learning for
onde a gente
Employment,
está
and it's
focando
aimed
em
at
jovens
students in
estudantes, né,
technical
das áreas
areas,
técnicas
and
e
it's a
certificá-los na
certification
nossa
program in
tecnologia. Então, a gente tem uma
technology.
parceria
We have
com o
a
programa Minha
partnership with
Chance aqui em São
program Minha
Paulo.
Chance in São Paulo,
Fizemos uma primeira
and we
turma
had
agora no
our
ano de
first group in
2020,
2020
apesar
in
da
spite of
pandemia,
the
com todos
pandemic
os
and all
desafios aí que a gente
related
enfrentou,
challenges,
e
and we have
certificamos já
certified
jovens que,
some young people,
inclusive,
and part
parte
of
deles
them
já está
have
empregada
been
em
hired already by
parceiros
partners
como parte do nosso
and as part of
ecossistema.
our
Então,
ecosystem.
são
So
várias ações.
several
É uma agenda
actions, it's a
muito
very
rica.
rich
Esse é um
agenda
valor
and part
fundamental
of
da SAP.
SAP's core values.
Outro ponto importantíssimo na sustentabilidade, o
Another
circular.
important
E vocês
point
têm
in
um projeto de
sustainability, circular
Boomera, é
economy,
isso?
and you have the
A gente tem uma
Boomera
parceria com a
project, is
Boomera. A
that
Boomera
right?
é uma
It's a
empresa
partnership
social,
with
né,
Boomera.
pioneira
Boomera
em
is a
economia
social
circular
company
aqui no
and a
Brasil.
pioneer in
E a
circular
gente está junto
economy in
com eles
Brazil.
desenvolvendo uma
And we are
plataforma
developing
para
a
conectar os
platform
diferentes
to
agentes,
connect
né? Eles
different
fazem
players.
um trabalho muito
They
bacana
do
com
a very
gestão
nice
de
job in
resíduos.
waste
E aí, nessa
management.
cadeia
And
produtiva, você
in
tem os
this production
coletores, você tem
chain,
os
we have
compradores
waste
desse resíduo,
collectors,
enfim. E a
waste
gente está criando aí um
procurers,
conceito de marketplace
and
junto
we
com
are
a Boomera
creating
para
a
conectar
marketplace
diferentes
concept with
agentes
Boomera to
dessa
connect
economia
different
circular. O
players
trabalho da Boomera
in
é
this circular
fantástico. Convido
economy.
todos aí a
Boomera's work is
pesquisarem e conhecerem
fantastic. I
mais
suggest you
sobre
check it
eles.
out.
Eu tenho sempre perguntado aos
I
meus
always
entrevistados
ask
qual é a
my
percepção que eles
interviewees
têm a
what
respeito
they
do que
think
é
and how they would
inovação. A
define
gente acha que
innovation.
tem que ser um processo
We tend to think it must be a
disruptivo, né?
disruptive
Inventar a roda.
process, like
Outros
inventing
dizem
the
que não,
wheel.
que você pode partir
Others
da
think
base
about
para
it's
melhorar
about
processos já
improving
existentes.
existing
A gente
processes.
nota,
And
Adriana,
we
que a
can see
SAP
that
tem
SAP
essa
is
preocupação em criar
concerned
cultura de
with
inovação
the
para que
creation of an
penetre em
innovation
todos os
culture that will
poros da
permeate the
empresa,
whole
né? Que não
company
fique restrita
rather
a um
than
time de
being
inovação.
limited to the innovation team.
E aí que você faz a
That's
mudança,
when
né,
you
de
create
verdade, quando
change,
você
truly,
consegue
when
trazer
you
isso
are
na
able to
cultura.
introduce this
Então,
in
eu
the
concordo
culture.
com a tua visão, e
I
ela pode
agree
ser
with you
inovação, de
because
novo, como é
innovation,
algo
given it's
novo, um
something new
conceito,
by
pode ser do
definition,
pequeno ao
it can be
grande.
from
A
small
nossa
to big.
visão aqui na
Our view
SAP,
in
Rosana, é que a
SAP is that
tecnologia ela é uma
technology
grande
is a big
habilitadora,
enabler,
mas que a
but that
transformação
transformation
sempre vem
is
pelas
brought about
pessoas.
by people.
Então, quando a
When
tecnologia
technology
automatiza,
brings
traz
automation,
eficiência, melhora
efficiency, process
processos, ela
improvement,
traz
it
ganhos
brings
para que o
gains
capital
that allow
intelectual
the
da empresa
intellectual
possa
capital
aflorar.
of
Porque
the
quem
company
tem
to
as
come to
grandes
the
ideias são
surface
as
because
pessoas.
people are the ones who
Então, a
have the
gente
great
traz essa
ideas. So we
visão
have
aí de
this
uma
view of
tecnologia
a
humanizada.
humanized technology.
E nesse momento, né, Adriane, que a
And
gente
in
viu como a
particular,
pandemia
in
do
this moment,
coronavírus
because the
escancarou a
coronavirus
necessidade da
pandemic
humanidade realmente
revealed the
parar e
need for us
pensar em
to
valorização
stop
das
and
pessoas,
think
né?
that we must
Ter um
value
prisma,
people,
realmente um olhar
to see
mais
things from a
humanizado
more
diante
humanized
do que a gente está
perspective.
vivendo. Agora, nós temos aqui,
We
Adriana,
have three
três
guests
convidados da
from
Klabin, que
Clubbing
vão também te fazer
who
algumas
have some
perguntas, né,
questions for
aproveitando
you
seu
and want to
conhecimento.
learn
Temos
from
o
you.
Herbert
Herbert
Hu, que é
Hu
de controladoria.
from
Temos
controllership,
a Ilana
Ilana
Priscila
Priscila
Fernandes,
Fernandes
de TI,
from
e a
IT,
Tina Barcelos,
and
de
Tina
Gente de
Barcelos from
Gestão. Eles já
People
estão aqui
Management.
conosco no nosso
We can
painel.
already
Oi,
see see
pessoal, tudo
them.
bem? Acena para mim
How
para
are
ver se vocês
you?
estão me ouvindo.
Let me know if you can hear me.
E eu vou pedir então ao
Herbert,
que faça a
I'd
primeira
like you to be
pergunta.
the first.
Boa tarde, tudo bem?
Okay, thank you, Adriana. How are you?
Primeiramente,
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity, for the invitation of having this opportunity to talk to you And congratulations for your new role on SAP, right? And SAP is a company that I've been following for so long in my career. It's been always there in different moments. And when I'm seeing new technologies, I always take a look at SAP. And well, today I work on controllership. Today, because of the pandemic, I feel that we had to change overnight, right? And this change brought a couple of important challenges, especially the way we communicate among ourselves. We're all working from home. So my question is how SAP is dealing with this challenge. You work with the main companies in the world, so how is this? How is this communication in these pandemic times, and how to be a provider of those companies in this new way of communicating?
Very good point, Herbert. And I'm happy to learn that SAP was and is part of your trajectory. I think there are two sides to this answer. When we started this process 1 year ago, I was part of the crisis committee, the COVID crisis committee in the company. We have organized our work in three fronts. What we would do with our collaborators, putting their safety first, how we could help our customers, and how we would work with the communities. As to collaborators, we started in Klabin also without knowing what to expect. 1 month became several months and 1 year. We entered 2021 thinking that things would go back to some new normal that we cannot yet define. So it's been a long, ongoing learning experience. Engaging people is vital. We have been learning a lot. And we have solutions for this. I will discuss this. And I think that the mental health agenda, SAP already had this program even before the pandemic, but it came to the forefront. How can we ensure people are taking care of themselves, not only physically by staying at home, and we have the privilege of working companies that allow us to stay at home and be protected, but how can we make sure people are fine and have enough support? So this includes compensation review. We have a program for compensation for psychological support, engaging activities such as yoga, functional training classes, activities unrelated to work, talk about wine, hobbies, invite speakers. We had Galvan Bueno with us talking about their wine. And so to try to come up with a more relaxed agenda. And we also learn how to adapt our time management, not only have meetings after meeting, but to have coffee breaks, have this discipline to stop for coffee, even if it's a virtual coffee break, or to walk around the room at home to have lunch. So from the basics to complex. So a great learning experience. And we have been talking a lot with partners and companies in order to adapt. This is a very dynamic agenda in our crisis committee for our collaborators, and we use our own solutions for collaborator experience management. We have a platform for this, and it captures feedback. It's a very user-friendly mobile app for us to measure, to see what is working, what is not, what we should be doing or not. And we use these survey feedback cycles to adapt. So several customers approached us, and at the start of the pandemic, we even gave access to the solution in demo format for customers to test, and many of them kept on using it. And we have been using this solution, this experience management solution, for real-time adaptation, because there is no roadmap to help us maintain engagement and high spirits. And I believe leadership plays a vital role, Herbert, because we must we must have lots of empathy. Figures are daunting. We have some of our collaborators who have been severely affected by the disease, who have lost loved ones. So lots of transparency in communication. Sometimes we really open the crisis committee for collaborators to ask questions. And many times the answers is something like we don't know, but we are committed to keep looking. And this has been our experience to try to maintain engagement and to adapt. And I believe we must be really resilient because it looks like things won't change until everyone is vaccinated and we can find a different safe format. Now it's Ilana's turn. Hello, how are you, Adriana? How are you, Ilana? You mentioned the diversity pillar in SAP, and I would like you to tell me about the impact of these diversity policies on the innovation process and even on SAP's performance. Ilana, market research shows how much diversity translates directly into results. And this is what we see in SAP. The more diverse teams are more innovative, more engaged, there is more exchange between team members. So it's not just one thing, but several things. And it doesn't make sense for a company to attract diversity, to hire more women, to have a better racial balance, different age groups, disabled people, if there isn't an environment where these people can be themselves, where they can really express themselves, because that's when they come up with new ideas and innovation happens. We have policies not only to attract and hire, but also to develop and even to accelerate, because gender equity, for example, that we have already discussed, we still have work to do. Even though I am a woman and a president and we have another woman as head of LATAM, we want to have 30% of women in leadership positions in 2030. We are almost there, but when you look around, there are examples of excellence in the company, but there are areas that still require improvement. So I believe we must talk a lot about it, bring the topic to the spotlight. We must recognize, and we do a lot of things in SAP. Just this week, we held our second unconscious bias workshop for the top leadership in the company, because some issues are cultural and deeply ingrained, and the company's policies must create this environment. And leadership plays a very important role by giving the example and creating this environment to develop people. And all of this will lead to innovation. So a lot of things combine, and this is our experience. I think we make mistakes, but not only mistakes. I took this one down, unconscious bias workshop, exactly to deconstruct these deeply ingrained concepts or preconcepts. Very interesting. Tina also has a question for Adriana. Go ahead, Tina. Adriana, can you tell us a bit about the major features of the SAP culture and walk us through the contributions of this culture during the pandemic? Cool, Tina. Our purpose as a company is to help the world to function better and to improve people's lives. This has always been our purpose, and we do this primarily by using our solutions. As Herbert has alluded to, we are present in large companies and are very proud to see that 3/4 of the world's GDP involves some SAP system. It's a big responsibility, and we impact the lives of many people. In our culture, to embrace the difference is one of the pillars. We talk a lot about diversity, as I did today, and this is one of the company's core values, to embrace the difference, to bridge gaps, to remain curious, and to tell it like it is. This is another pillar in our organizational culture. To really speak up openly. We must agree and disagree. Large companies such as ours that have matrices and different interests, it's important to have conflict. Conflict constructs, provided there is respect, which is something non-negotiable in this company. So the SAP culture is a very strong one. And in these difficult times of pandemics, it helped us greatly. What I have witnessed in SAP and also with our customers during the pandemic, even going back a little bit to Herbert's question about the remote, the digital environment, was this cultural transformation that required us to embrace the digital for lack of alternative. We wouldn't be doing what we are doing right now if it were not for this situation. And I believe it will be great if we are able in future to feel we have learned. It's hard to stress the positives in this pandemic with so many lives lost, but there are lessons that were learned that can be incorporated in our culture, in our actions. The digital format brings productivity, wider access, it allows several things. However, I am a romantic and I believe there is no substitute for human interaction. What I believe is we will come up with a hybrid model that will include everything we have learned. And the culture of companies is really what we reach out to in difficult times. I feel privileged to work for a company where people matter, even though it's a technology company. The core is our people, and transformation happens through people. So again, technology is an enabler. We have experience and are experiencing this during this pandemic. So it's not only high tech, it's high touch. Totally agree. I can see you like that. Ilana, Herbert, Tina, thank you very much for your participation. You have enriched our festival with your interesting questions. Adriana, it was great to have you with us. You're brilliant. Congratulations for your beautiful trajectory. You represent talented Brazilian women very well, and they have all the right to aim high and get to the top of the ladder in companies. Thank you all.
Obrigada, beijo para vocês e até uma próxima oportunidade. Adorei.
Obrigada, pessoal.
Tchau, gente.
And I look forward to seeing you again.
Muito boa.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Informação relevante, né?
Bye bye.
Pelo nosso evento.
This was good. It was really great. Lots of relevant information in our festival for us to be not only prepared but really inspired.